Hey y'all, I'm Robin Barnes, the New Orleans Songbird, and we are here for the making of Super Bowl 59 at the beautiful Superdome. This will be the 11th Super Bowl in New Orleans. New Orleans is known for its vibrant culture, rich history, and amazing music, if I do say so myself. In this series, we're going to show you how the Super Bowl comes to life. This time, we're talking all things Superdome. First, we'll chat with Steve Farago, NFL Director of Event Operation, about how he and his team start work way ahead of time to make sure the Dome is game day ready on Super Bowl Sunday. Then, Evan Holmes, the GM of the Superdome, talks Dome renovations and takes me on the coolest escalator ride of my life. So, stay tuned in. Hey y'all, I am here with Steve Farago, the Director of Event Operations with the NFL. Steve, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I have to ask, what is your job? I mean, I know you're going to say it's 20,000 things, but for the people who just don't understand the basics, what do you do?
Right. So the way we like to describe it is when people come to the Super Bowl, everybody's a VIP, right? From the players that are participating to the fans that are coming to the league partners, the city folks, and it's my job to make sure everybody gets that VIP experience. Members of the media, our broadcast partners. So everybody has their own goals and objectives, and it's kind of my job to sit in the middle of all those groups and make sure everybody can achieve those objectives and goals.
Getting into a little bit of that. So you have to basically collaborate with so many different departments in the NFL. How is that possible? I mean, everyone has 20,000 days going on in each department, and you're the one that has to be the nucleus to make it all come together.
Right. So first it's me, but there's an army of people on our team that are supporting that effort. So we work closely. Now there's some historic precedents of what each group needs, right? And we build off that, and then each year those things change. So it's opening the line of communication, and if I know what that group wants to do, we can work to make that happen. So we work with the internal NFL departments, and then also all of our vendors and our partners, again, from a broadcast and a media perspective, and understanding their needs. And again, it's also a long planning process, so giving ourselves that runway to make sure we're able to deliver what everybody needs. But we have a great working relationship with the other NFL departments and with our local partners as well to make that come to fruition.
How long is this long planning process?
2 years, a little over 2 years. Yeah.
So it's not done overnight. It's not 2 months.
No. Yeah, I've been coming down to New Orleans, for the better part of 2 years, almost on a month-to-month basis, continuing to develop the plan. And each month it gets a little bit more clear and a little bit more clear. And here we are, about 2 months from game day. I'll be back in about 30 days for good, as we like to say, right, for the long haul. So we feel really good about where we are in the process right now, but it's been a long time in the making, but a very fruitful and positive process.
I love that. So with the renovations with the Superdome, what are things that the fans can have to look forward to? Yeah,
first of all, the renovations are beautiful, right? What the stadium has been able to do, the Saints and the state here is great. I think generally speaking, overall, the fan experience will just be enhanced, right? There's larger concourses, there's better views of the field, there's a more connectivity from the concourses and the concession stands to the field, being able to see the video board. So I think when you come in, whether you've been to the Superdome before or it's your first time, you're going to walk in and, there's that wow factor, new amenities, new club spaces. So really excited to put that on display for the Super Bowl fans.
So what tips do you have for fans who are trying to make the most of the Super Bowl events?
Right. So we have a week-long event schedule that leads up to game day. And I think it really kicks off with opening night, which is Monday, February 3rd. It's being held here in the Superdome. So fans, specifically local New Orleans residents, Louisiana residents that might not be able to come to the game on Sunday, we encourage them to come down to opening night, really get a feel for what that Super Bowl look and experience is like. It's the first time the teams have availability to the media, and the fans can also experience that as well. So tickets are on sale here in a couple days in December, and it really gives the local fans and the community the opportunity to come inside the Superdome, check out the renovations, and that first taste of the Super Bowl feel.
I know, I'll be here. I'll be there for that.
I'll be here too. I'll see you there.
So Steve, what do you love about your job? Like what is it that you are most excited about with the fan experience, with what you're able to create. I mean, you're coming into cities and you're making magic. What is it that you love about it?
Two things, right? It's getting in the details and the problem solving, right? Standing around a table with our team members and figuring out the problem. And then you fast forward to game day and you see that work in action, right? We troubleshoot something. We say, hey, this is the best way to do it. And then when the doors open and the game's being played, like, there's our plan in action. So it's kind of, I love being in the middle and figuring it out. And then it's the reward on game day of seeing it come to life. That's key for me. And whether it's the first thing 2 years planning or switching something the day before, which happens, right? It's never too late to tweak the plan. And then seeing our team members execute that on game day is rewarding for me and for the entire team. Because it's, like I said, it's thousands of us, local teammates as well, right? People coming out, whether you're a security guard or a ticket taker, and having the ability to give those folks a Super Bowl experience as well. And they can say we had a hand in putting on this great event is also just an awesome story. So
when you think about all the cities you have honestly come in and then created this magic, what is special about New Orleans?
It's I mean, you know it, right? It's unique from a music perspective, from a food. And what we try to do is really bring that to life in our events, right? Whether it's opening night, whether it's the entertainment we're going to provide outside and inside the stadium on game day. New Orleans gives us such kind of a palette to do that and pick at those different things, like I said, the food experiences and the music, and tie that to football and Super Bowl. And that's the magic, right? And that's what the city provides for us as the NFL, right? And it's a great partnership and it's going to be a great party on Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for being here with us. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just encourage fans to come down early. Download NFL One Pass for all your up-to-date information for the week of and for game day. And we look forward to seeing you in February.
Hey, y'all. We are here today with Evan Holmes, the general manager of the Superdome. Evan, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thanks so much for coming. Welcome to the newly renovated Superdome.
To your home.
You spend a lot of time here. My kids, we drive by and my kids say, hey, Dad, that's where you live. I'm like, well, let's work there. I come home in the evenings.
Tell us, what is your role?
So I'm the general manager here at the Superdome and the Smoothie King Center and Champion Square. So we have a 52-acre campus here. We do about 400 events every year. And so my role is to make sure all of that works well in the way it should work, while managing the budget, managing our capital projects, and all of our tenants and event partners. So a lot going on, but have a great staff here to help me do it all.
You know, I always ask, what do you love about what you do?
Well, we host a lot of things. And when people come here, they're coming here to have a good time or to have a great experience. And, sometimes you can lose track of that when you're working at every event. But it's a mantra we have in the building here. It's, we have meetings and we have spreadsheets and we have emails, but I make it a point to say, get out and walk around the building, take a look around you, because this is about as unique as it gets in terms of an office environment. And oh, by the way, people get to come to your office and hang out and have the best times of their lives if we're doing our job right. And that's special. And not everybody gets to do that. So don't take that for granted.
I think that's so special and unique about your job in this place, because for a lot of New Orleanians, these are core memories. Yep. These are experiences that they cherish for the rest of their lives. So we're going to be celebrating the 50th year of the Superdome. That is huge. How do you feel about, this legacy of this amazing establishment?
Well, it's a milestone that's critical for us, because it's a validation, I think, of what the original designers and the original politicians and all the others that were involved way back when they said, we're going to put our stake in the ground to call New Orleans a major event city. And this building, being 50 years old, compare that to other cities that have built facilities, tore them down, built another one, and maybe torn that one down. It's a justification for the design, it's a justification for its location, and all the programming that we do here. So we don't take that lightly. And the folks here that have been here for a long time, I haven't been here nearly as long as the building has been around, but long enough to appreciate it. There is really a sense of stewardship here that, it's one thing to have the events, but it's another thing to have this asset and make sure we're protecting it, to make sure people can experience this building the way it was intended to be experienced, which is one of the biggest buildings in the world, frankly. And we do a really good job, I think, in executing our event activity and let people have those memories.
I think what's amazing about the structure of the Superdome, it is definitely intimidating for performers, I will tell you. Singing the national anthem, it is hilarious about when you start singing and you're like, which echo is my original voice? I love the fact that you touched on the foundation of the structure of this building, the fact that other auditoriums have been torn down and rebuilt in around the same span of this existence. My question is, how do you feel about the renovations? What's new? What's something that you're most excited about for fans to see?
Well, back to the original design, one thing that I think is critical for us to even do this work was back when they were building the stadium, they said the Superdome needs to be able to fit the Astrodome inside of it. That was kind of the mantra back in the day, right? So there's about 2 million square feet here, is my point, is that we have all this room that other buildings don't have or didn't have that are now gone. Astrodome, Metrodome, others go down the list. And so that allowed us to do all the things in this building that they couldn't do. We weren't architecturally obsolete, which was the feared term that we heard when we were going through the renovation. And so the renovation allowed us to just really expand the building. We always had the space. It was just, there was never the right time to take that space out and repurpose it. And by that, I mean 80,000, 100,000 square feet of space that was previously dedicated to a ramp system, for example, that really was just ways to get people up and down. Take that out and build back wider concourses, better restrooms, better food and beverage, escalators can get you up and down really quick. So it's just a more functional space. And so walking through here, if you look around the improvements, what you don't see are a lot of things that are focused on clubs or suites or other enhancements to kind of the revenue side. A lot of what you see is focused on the guest experience, which is key. So this is one of my favorite parts of the building, and I'd say the biggest wow element of the facility. This is our new escalator system that will bring folks from the 200 level up to the 500 level to get up to the terrace seats that previously, as we've timed it, took about 7-8 minutes under the old configuration. Now it's less than 2 minutes. So 5 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're running late and people in New Orleans tend to show up last minute for the Saints games and you got to get up there to catch kickoff, that 5 minutes is critical. So this was a major element to the renovation that allowed all the other parts of the building to work in terms of the functionality and the revenue generation.
This is stunning. I mean, this is gorgeous.
It's pretty cool.
So New Orleans is a popular destination for the Super Bowl. This will be the 11th time it's come to our city. Tell me why. What do you think? Well,
in addition to Super Bowl, there's a lot of other events that people appreciate about this city. It's a concept we call the Golden Triangle. Now, this is beyond the Superdome, but I think it's core to the overall package that is offered here by the city. So you have the Superdome campus, 52 acres, dome, Smoothie King Center, Champion Square. A mile away, you have the Convention Center. A mile away from the Convention Center and the Superdome, you have the French Quarter. And in between that triangle, you can kind of visualize it, you have 26,000 hotel rooms, world-class hospitality, world-class culinary. You can carry a drink anywhere you want to go. Typically, the weather's pretty nice. Compare that to some of the other markets. We have our friends in other markets that, they host other big events. But from an event standpoint or from an experience standpoint, the package that New Orleans offers within that Golden Triangle and beyond, because all the other things you can do here, is really unique. And I think people like coming here because they get to experience more than just coming to the game, landing in the airport, going to the hotel, shuttled over to the stadium, back to the hotel and out of town. Here, it's more of an experience, and there's more to do, and there's more excitement, and it's an authentic excitement. So I think that's a testament to why we're able to get all these big events, Final Fours, WrestleManias, Taylor Swift's, all these things. People can experience the city as much as they experience the building.
I mean, that's what's beautiful about New Orleans. It has a vibrant culture. It has a rich history. And on top of it, if I'm biased, I will say the phenomenal music.
Absolutely. 100%.
So the renovations are gorgeous. And obviously the Super Bowl is going to be amazing here. But beyond the Super Bowl, what are you guys doing to make sure that the fan experience is on par with any other premier venue in the world?
Well, that was a core concept when we were going through our renovation. We wanted to focus on making sure this building could stay competitive, because you look around the competitive landscape beyond New Orleans and Louisiana, a lot of other communities are investing billions upon billions of dollars to do exactly what we're doing here, which are host these big events. Now, we had the benefit of spending a fraction of that. I say a fraction, a couple $100 million. What's that between friends? But, what we have here allows us to host any event out there. What's interesting about the Super Bowl is we were actually awarded the Super Bowl prior to the renovation, prior to them even knowing the renovation was happening. So the building in its old configuration was going to host it one way or the other. The new configuration is going to make it that much better and that much easier, frankly, because it's the guest experience is key, but it's also all the folks that are having to execute the event. And a Super Bowl and a WrestleMania and a Final Four are a lot different than a Saints game or a concert in terms of spaces that are needed for hospitality, production, back-of-house spaces. It really becomes kind of a larger hub of activity beyond the event itself. So the renovation provides for tons of real estate that they can do all that, and they can be more efficient. But it also allows the guest experience to be what it is at these other venues. So that was a core element to this. The other piece to this is that it wasn't necessarily done, the renovation, for these major events. It was done to really preserve a lot of what we have here. And when you look at what New Orleans has on the event calendar, specific to this building and its campus, we have a lot of what we call legacy events. And those are events that we have like Sugar Bowl, Bayou Classic, Essence Festival, Endymion, go down the list. We have high school football championships coming up this weekend. So those events were core to us in that we didn't want to lose our ability to host those events because that's really what got us to where we are today. And so when we went through this, it wasn't 100% focused on hosting Super Bowls or Final Fours, or even really having the Saints have more or less than what they have today. It was, let's make sure that we can preserve what we have and enhance what we have in addition to all these other major events that we're competing for every year.
So the Super Bowl is bigger than a traditional, Saints game. And with that comes a lot of preparation and a lot of planning. Explain to me a little bit about that collaboration.
Sure. So the Super Bowl is more than just a game. You're right. We kind of joke. It's kind of a 4-hour excuse to spend 4 or 5 days in a city, frankly. So the Super Bowl, by the time you get to the end of the week, it's hopefully you've had people here since the previous Sunday or Monday. So there's a ton of activity in town. And we start here on the Monday before the next Sunday Super Bowl with opening night. And there's a ton of activity during the week. And so that happens obviously outside of the building, and you need a group and a team to help coordinate that. And so we're part of the host committee with the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, led by Jay Cicero and that team. That's really, they're professional cat herders, frankly. They're the ones that are dealing with not only us, they're dealing with the convention center, the airport, the hotels, all the other support facilities that are hosting the commissioner's party, the honors at the Sanger. So there's all kinds of things happening, right? And someone's got to manage that. And the host committee is taking up that charge, and there's a whole bunch of subcommittees that work within it, but they're the ones that have to work closely with the NFL. And the NFL doesn't just come and roll the football out on the field either and say, all right, let's play the game. There's a lot of other support activities that happen, be it offsite hospitality, be it the halftime show, be it all of the event operations and security measures that come into play. So there's layer upon layer of this event that goes well beyond what you see from normal Saints game. And that is all being coordinated through our local host committee that takes the lead when we're having these major events.
This makes me feel like whenever I'm complaining about a kid's birthday party, I am so silly.
It's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
So, Evan, thank you so much for being here with us. Evan Holmes, the general manager of the Superdome, thank you so much. And thank you for what you do, because there are so many tiny details that I had no idea was a part of this iconic event.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you, and it's an honor for us to be a part of this major event, and glad you got a chance to enjoy it.
Yes.
The host committee would like to thank our founding partners, Entergy and Chevron. Our sponsors. Each of these companies plays an integral role in the overall success of the New Orleans Super Bowl host committee. We couldn't do it without you.